Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Senate Travel. We are off and running early this morning. We have a couple of senators over at Ag and another one who needs to get to Ag. So I wanted to get started right away. Sue, would you take roll, please?
Senator Boner,
Excused.
Senator Hicks,
Excused.
Senator Jones,
Here.
Senator Schuler,
Here.
Chairman Landon.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Okay, thank you very much, Director. It's good to see you. And Mr. Chairman, thank you for being here this morning. Let's launch right in. We're going to take up Senate File 52, 2026 large project funding. That comes out of our Select Committee, Natural Resources Trust. So Director, take us off and running. The gun has been fired.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
I think it's our pleasure to be here today to present Senate File 52, the large project funding bill. I think the director will walk you through all the specifics, but obviously the committee has always put in a ton of work. As you know, Mr. Chairman, they do great work on behalf of the citizens of Wyoming. It's lots of good projects in this bill. You'll see there's a big focus on invasive species, grasses. And so I think you'll hear from the director about that and why that's important and why there's definitely a focus on that. So I'll turn it over to him. If you have any questions for me, I'm available. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, when you feel like you've got to get next door, please take off and get your other work done. But thanks for taking the time to come in, and I appreciate your work as the chairman of the Select Committee.
Well, with your permission, then, Mr. Chairman, I might get over there and attend to the meeting next door. Thank you all very much.
To keep an eye on things over there too. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll come back to the director, and we appreciate we've got another chairman with us, so let's get started. And good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to introduce Steve Meadows. Steve is the chairman of our board. He's one of two who have been on the board now who have been on since the inception of the program. So he's into his 21st year as a board member and 5th year as chairman, I believe. So
Chairman, welcome. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate all your work.
So I'll just walk through these, and if you have questions after each one, I'll be happy to answer them, Mr. Chairman. The first is the Upper Grable 3. This is a Game and Fish Department project. It's a multiple year project. It'll be a little confusing because it's only 150,000. The threshold is 400, as you know. When they come back the second time, the threshold is 200,000. This one was funded last year at 150. So that plus this 150 hit that threshold of the 200. That's why it's in here. The project itself has a lot of different pieces to it. Those include areas where they're restricting fish movement to protect a native strain of pure cutthroat trout. There are other areas where they've actually allowed fish to move to provide sport fisheries with brook trout primarily, but rainbows, browns. So the headwater streams that are really important for those spawning, for those cuts, they're keeping those out. So there's a lot of different fish passage components to this. There are culverts that are perched that are going to be replaced by arches. You'll see the photo in the second page. That's a bottomless arch. We use a lot of those around the state. Fish can get through, water can get through. They're very, very effective, very efficient compared to a culvert that erodes underneath it, and then it's sitting up there spewing water out, creating more erosion. So there's about 170 miles of stream that this will make accessible to fish that were not accessible before. That's pretty significant in an area with high recreational values. And as you can see, multiple partners. That's one of the things about the program that I think is most compelling. You've got irrigation districts, you have private landowners, Trout Unlimited, Game and Fish, Conservation District, all working together. And that's what this project is. So this is the final on it. It'll be done after this 150,000 and we'll move on to something else. So happy to answer any questions there, Mr. Chairman.
So, Director, where's the mouth of that water? Where does it come in? And where does this stream go?
So the Grable River runs into the Bighorn down by Grable, actually.
Okay. I just have not been in that country. And so,
Well, Mr. Chairman, we should get you up there. That's
Yeah.
God's country. It's beautiful up there and it's really, you know, it's wild country. You've got just
Yeah.
about everything you can think of in Wyoming's
yeah,
alpine, subalpine. You've got grizzly bears down to, you know, mink and all of those. And that's where black-footed ferrets were found as well. So
you've
it's,
got a fence over there just east of there for those grizzly bears, all right?
no, actually they read, Mr. Chairman, they get a little flyer every year that tells them where they can go and what they can eat. And they're very good about that.
Yeah, we don't want you in the bighorns, but yeah,
Correct.
okay. Keep going, Director.
Second project is Baggs Valley Headwaters. This is 5. This is again a multi-phase project. What you see in the 2 photos on the second page, one is an aspen and shrubland treatment. It's oak brush, aspen. The way to deal with that when it gets decadent is to go in, knock it all down. That'll get sprouting to start with those plants, and you'll get your aspen stands back. That removal of some encroaching conifers. The lower photo is encroaching conifers in sage grouse and mule deer habitat. And what happens there is you come in, you start to lose that sagebrush component. It's juniper primarily. When you go and take that down, the junipers become a perching site for raptors, which sage grouse really don't like because they eat them. But it also impacts mule deer, the foraging base that the mule deer use in the winter. So those are 2 of the kinds of things that are going on here. There's about 35,000 acres. It's all essential mule deer habitat. It's also in sage grouse core area. Again, you look at the long list of partners there, Muley Fanatics, the Mule Deer Foundation, Fish and Wildlife Service, that's our partners for Fish and Wildlife Program, the Conservation District, NRCS, and private landowners. Again, just a really good project ongoing. This is the 5th phase. This will probably continue on, I would guess, for a number of years because you've got a lot of country down there. Again, one thing that's compelling about this, when they started this project, Mike Massey and I went down and did the site visit, and it was right after the horrific winter we had 3 years ago. And what you found, if you found any deer, they were really tough. We went back the next spring, and there were deer all over these treated areas, and they were fat. And so it's the natural way that they respond. You have a catastrophic winter. Those that make it through actually do quite well, and then you can start to build your populations back up. So this habitat improvement increases the nutritive value of the forage, increases the availability, and it makes it really important when you do come out of a rough winter like that. So. Questions on that one? Zorica cheatgrass 2, this is Park County Weed and Pest. I don't really need to tell you too much about cheatgrass. We've talked about that a lot in the last few years. This is a really good project. Again, the governor and I went up there last summer. They did a tour, and the 2 landowners who are the major landowners in this landscape stood on a ridge and pointed to their properties, which had been treated. And you could have drawn a line with a crayon between the ones that had not been treated yet. This just expands beyond that. You can see the area that's being treated on the map. There's about 60,000 acres. This is all, again, in that same Meeteetse area where you're looking at multiple species that are beneficiaries. So I think that's one that, again, a lot of different partners. And this again is a second year. So that's why you get the 399 or 395 still bumps it over into a large project.
So Director, obviously, let's go to Senator Schuler first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mhm.
Yeah, so Director, I'm just wondering, with the cheatgrass, those areas that have been treated, I don't know how tough the cheatgrass is. Does it ever come back in those areas where it's treated?
Mr. Chairman, Senator Schuler, yes. In fact, what we recommend and what we've been doing with most of ours is when they bring us the initial budget, we ask them to factor in a second treatment. We did that with the recovery money that we allocated this year, that the legislature gave us last year. And you don't know whether that's going to be 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, because the chemical has varying responses. But after the second treatment, with proper management, it appears that you can keep cheatgrass. You're never going to get rid of it, but you can keep it to where it's such a minor part of the vegetative component that you can live with it, or you can continue to spot treat it. In Carbon County, they did a major project on Black Hall Mountain, and did a really good treatment, then went back and reanalyzed it. And where they flew it, if the cheatgrass was behind a rock, it didn't get caught. So they went back in and spot sprayed all of that. So you have a continuing responsibility, no different than if your garden, you pull the weeds one time in May, it's not going to carry you through the summer. So, but yeah, there's multiple treatments.
So Director, keep going. That actually was a question that I wanted to get into a little bit. We've been out there on the ground, in a couple of spots over the last couple of years, and boy, it's a concern, and I think we're reacting appropriately. We just hope we can get out in front of it. And what are your thoughts? Do we have a chance to get out in front of the tidal wave?
Mr. Chairman, that is a great question, and it's one that gets asked all the time.
Yeah.
I recall when I managed Red Canyon Ranch, which is somewhere behind me here on the wall. I had a neighbor, and we vigorously went after leafy spurge. And I asked him, because he was upwind, I said, "Are you going to spray that?" And he said, "I did once and it didn't work." And I said, "Well, you got to spray it like 2 or 3 years. It's got a root this long. You're not going to get it one time walking by and waving a wand at it." And ultimately I sprayed his too, because I didn't want it. But that attitude that we let something go, this has been going on for 50 or 60 years. And that we let it go and then suddenly think we're going to check that and correct it and turn the ship around in 1-2 years. That's absurd. That's not how ecosystems work. And so we have to be smart enough to say, we're going to commit to healing these landscapes, making these ecosystems vibrant, making sure we have the right vegetative components, that we have soil health. All of those things go into the result. So I think we are ahead of it more than other places. My friends in states like Nevada say to me all the time, "Don't quit, don't let up." They did. They just went, "Oh, it's good feed in the spring." Well, that's not, it's good feed in the spring for about a week. There's 52 weeks in a year, and your cows need to eat all 52.
Yeah.
So I think we're making progress. If you look at what we looked at this summer, when we went out on the house draw fire and looked at the response there and saw that your natives were coming back pretty well, that gets treated, that gives them a competitive advantage. Again, then you apply proper management to that, and you're never going to get rid of it. But if you keep it as a minor component in your vegetative mix, we can live with that.
Yeah. Thank you, Director. Please continue.
Cody Canal fish screen. There are more than 43,000 native fish and 18,000 trout lost in this canal every year. It basically takes the bulk of the South Fork and diverts it, and then that irrigation system goes clear down to the Powell Highway. This is a fish screen that will move those fish as they come down the canal back into the main stem of the South Fork. And it is a major area for recreational fishing. It is a tremendous loss of fish. And anytime you're talking large numbers of native fish being lost to the system, you're vulnerable to a petition under the Endangered Species Act for somebody to say, "You humans have caused all these problems and now these fish are in dire need." They're not. But the fact that we can put in a fish screen that takes care of them, that's a big deal. This is a huge screen, I will tell you that. It's 275 cubic feet per second capacity. So as I say, you can take the bulk of the South Fork and run it down the Cody Canal. It's, I think, the 8 screens on the entire apparatus. They originally asked for twice this amount. The board didn't feel like that was appropriate, so they cut that back and asked them to find some other sponsors, which they've assured us they're going to do. Again, you've got the irrigation district involved, you have the landowners involved. everybody's all in. They want to do this. They want to do the right thing. So I think it's a good project. Very different. This is probably the biggest fish screen we'll do in Wyoming.
Thank you.
North Platte invasives, again, this is a invasive grasses, primarily cheatgrass project on the North Platte River. It's a little bit different than what we're used to because this is where we've got cheatgrass down into that riparian system. If you notice this weekend, we had a fire near Riverton. That's the kind of thing that you'd want to avoid because once that gets into that riparian system and you've got old fallen down cottonwoods, you've got cottonwoods that are trying to regenerate, you're trying to maintain the health of that system. You've got fine fuels in there like cheatgrass that can burn through. Now you can start to burn that whole riparian. And there are houses adjacent to it. This one is as much a public safety project as anything else, but it's the same thing. It's just in a little different habitat, which I think actually the board was kind of excited about that, to be able to do something that was different than just the standard rangeland treatment. So we'll see how it works, but it's another good project. And moving right along, the last one is the Western Wyoming Cheatgrass 2. This is a multi-phase. We've been working on this for over a decade. They've done tremendous work. And I say this with, you notice last year fire season, we didn't have a lot of fires in Western Wyoming. We had the same amount of lightning, but that fine fuel load has been taken out. I also want to point out how effective some of these programs are and the importance of the trust, because by having funds that can be made available to do things, people start talking to each other. We started in Western Wyoming with Sublette County Weed and Pest. The next one on board was Teton County Weed and Pest. Then Lincoln County said, maybe we better get in the game. This is now 5 counties. 2 of them are seated at the table. It's Sweetwater, Uinta, Lincoln, Sublette, and Teton, and they all work together. So most of this funding will go to Sweetwater County this time and Uinta, but it'll be administered out of Teton County because they said, hey, we've got the people, we can do this. We'll handle the billing and the grant writing and things. Previously, it was administered out of Sublette County Weed and Pest. And the other 3 don't have the same capacity that those 2 do. So it's really a statement about community. It's a statement about our commitment to conservation. When you look at those 5 counties, there's a lot of things they don't see eye to eye on. So this they do. And the way they did it, the phase 1, the one that was funded before, that all went into Lincoln County because they all said, we're pretty good over here in Sublette. We got some money. Teton said, we're at a kind of where we're ready to see what happens. You got to get Lincoln going. And then now we're moving into Uinta and Sweetwater. So this will be back. We'll see this one again. And potentially this one we'll need to add to. Because of the loss of the supplemental last year and our request for funding, which did pass both the House and Senate and then got stranded, the board really had to make some hard decisions as to whether or not to allocate their normal funds as opposed to cheatgrass funds. They ultimately said, we'll do that to a level. If the budget that we have this year goes through, we have that backfill to do the remainder of this. So,
You know, I was fortunate enough to join both of you on that Western tour a couple of years ago, and I really enjoyed the passion of, all of these guys. Just really terrific.
Yeah.
All the good work that's going on out there. And it's like you said, Director, this fund just creates all kinds of opportunities, and it just really makes you feel good to see what work we're getting done. So great story over there on the Western Front.
So Mr. Chairman, that's the bill. I'd ask Chairman Meadows if he has anything he wants to add, and then be happy to help you walk through the bill if that's what's your pleasure.
Chairman, welcome this morning, and thanks for all the years and including this past year, bringing us forward some awfully good projects, some important ones.
Well, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. I don't have a great deal to add. I didn't realize I'd be here today. I thought I was coming just to a board meeting, but it's wonderful to be here with you.
Yeah.
Good senators and Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Such an honor to be part of this effort for all these years and see all the good work. We have a spreadsheet that I insisted on years ago and that fellow board members have modified and refined that looks back on all the projects over the last 20 years, and it's phenomenal. Phenomenal, the amount of work that's been done on the ground to preserve the things we all love about Wyoming.
Yeah.
And I'm just very honored and grateful that a few governors trusted folks like me to be a part of it. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Any questions from the chairman, senators? Appreciate both of you. If you can hang for a minute, we'll go to public comment.
I
On
have one other thing
Yeah.
I forgot to mention. You have two handouts. The first is the actual, it follows tracks with the bill. The other is all of the projects that the board looked at last year and the ultimate disposition of each of those. So it just gives you a full picture. You get to see 6 or 7 out of 70 or 80 because they make large projects, but there are many others. Just
Yeah, thanks
point
for
that
that
out.
reminder,
Yep.
Director, and we'll be sure to remind folks upstairs too. We do tend to kind of pay attention to the large projects, and there's an awful lot of very good work going on. So thank you. I do want to invite public comment on Senate File 52. This is our large project funding bill for the Wildlife Trust. And by the way, it's nice to see Ms. Wasserberger with us this morning. Does a lot of the work behind the scenes. Thank you. Any public comment? Does anyone want to come forward on this bill? Any public comment online?
No one online for this bill. Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
let's close public comment. And senators, what's your pleasure on this bill?
Move the bill.
Okay, it's moved by Senator Schuler. Discussion. Discussion on the bill.
Chairman?
Yes,
Just thank Director Bud. I think this is very nice to have as well. It's great to see what's happening, in the future, but kind of looking back on all these projects around the state, it's actually overwhelming. And so it's one of the best things I think we've done. And we've got the greatest director, as far as I'm concerned, to make this thing happen. So appreciate all your efforts.
well, I would just caution, he's still got to get a hat on to get out of here. So we, anything, Senator? We good to go?
I'm good.
Sue, would you take roll, please, on Senate File 52?
Senator Boner.
Excused.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Hicks has left an aye vote, absentee
Okay,
vote
thank
of
you for
aye.
that.
Senator Jones. Aye. Senator Schuler.
All right.
Chairman Landon.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, you have 4 ayes, 1 excused.
Okay, just as a keep an order in the House, I'll remind senators, this one will need to be re-referred. It's got money in it. There's a fiscal note, so it will go to appropriations in the next day or so and continue on to the process. And probably by Thursday or Friday, it'll be on the floor of the Senate, and hopefully we can keep it moving. That'll be good. I understand you're going to be traveling later in the week, Director. Travel safe out there. Thank you very much for all your work. We're off and running with the large projects. Okay. Next bill for our consideration committee is Senate File 24, lottery tickets, acceptance of debit card payments. You will remember, committee, that this was an interim topic, and we took up this bill during the interim and worked it, so it'll be familiar to us. I'm gonna ask if Betsy, would you like to come forward? Yeah, well, I'm ready. I'm ready for you. And it would help us to be reminded what this bill does and what it says. Yeah, so we very much appreciate it. Welcome, all of you. Appreciate it. Welcome
Morning,
to
Mr. Chairman,
Senate
members of the
travel.
committee. We're very grateful for your time. I'm Jessie Defoe with the Wyoming Lottery, and with me I have all the expertise that we need to answer any questions. This is we first want to thank you for the work during the interim, because we feel like that gave us a chance to really vet through the idea, to answer questions, and to make sure it was hopefully what you see in front of you, a very clean and simple bill of a modernization that small businesses are asking for, to simply allow the use of debit cards for the purchase of lottery tickets. We are in no way looking for credit cards or any type of expansion. This is simply a business opportunity for our small retailers that they have asked for, that our consumers have asked for. So I thought I'll pass it over to Robin to kind of hit some high level things that the lottery is doing. And of course, Matt's always the one to answer the real legal questions that we have. So
Okay, Ms. Defoe, thank you very much. Good morning. Just for the record, would you please introduce yourself?
Yes, first let me figure this
Oh.
thing out. Not tech savvy. Good morning. I'm Robin Medina. I'm the Chief Operations Officer with the Wyoming Lottery. Thank you for having us here this morning. Thought we would just give you a couple highlights of the bill and why we think it's important. One thing is the consumers. We do hear this question a lot from our consumers. Do we use debit cards or do we accept them? And so we hear it a lot. Our retailers hear it a lot. They have customers that come in, they can't purchase a ticket because they can't use their debit card and they don't have cash. And many of us don't carry cash nowadays. We rely on those debit cards. So we are hearing from our consumers, and we're also hearing from our retailers. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's been a lot of billion-dollar jackpots. I think in the last 3 years, there's been 11. That's very uncommon. So when the jackpot gets high, people they want their chance to win it. So they come in, there's lines out the doors. I know in Uintah County, there's always lines. People really want a chance to play. And so there's more cash that our retailers are holding. And really, we're starting to see about $8,000 for some of these small businesses when we have a high jackpot run up. And they're not used to that for lottery tickets. And so that is a safety concern of theirs. The bigger chains, they actually have a lot of staff available to go to the bank and do the bank runs. And the smaller businesses just don't. They don't have the staff to be able to make those runs throughout the day as the cash is coming in for these products. So we do know that the consumers are asking for it. The retailers are asking for it. And so we definitely are paying attention to that conversation. And just some statistics. There are 46 lotteries right now selling lottery tickets. There are only 2 lotteries that do not accept debit. We are one of them, and then Tennessee. However, Tennessee does allow ACH deposits, but they sell their products online. So they transfer money into an account from their bank, and that's why they don't allow the debit cards, because they have the ACH option.
So Robin, can I stop you and have
Mhm.
you repeat that for me, please? We've got 46 states out there with lotteries.
Yep.
And can you remind me what you said about the use of debit cards?
Sure,
it-
Chairman Landon. So there are 46 states that have a lottery, and I should have thrown that number out. There are 44 that accept debit card.
Oh, okay.
And then there are 2 that do not, ourselves and then Tennessee. And again, Tennessee just doesn't allow it because they allow the ACH for online purchases.
I just wanted to make sure I got that right. So 44 out of the 46 states do allow what this bill would do.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
thank
they do. And it's just another step to help modernize the Wyoming Lottery. Again, sales are doing great. We're doing great as an organization. We just want to provide more convenience for our players and our retailers. We want to keep them safe.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Robin? Senator Schuler?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could you remind us again, the breakup of what percentage from the lottery goes to cities and towns?
Yes, Chairman Landon and Senator Schuler. 75% of net income is required by law to go back to the state of Wyoming.
So 75% of all of the money that is cleared
Mhm.
off the lottery comes back to the state of Wyoming.
Yes, it
And I
does.
believe it's broken down, if I remember the days when we set that up,
Mhm.
the school districts benefit some and the local governments benefit. Is that correct?
Mhm. And Chairman Landon, so of the 75% that goes to the treasurer's office and it's distributed based on lottery sales to different cities, towns and counties.
Yeah. So is it all cities, towns and counties, or wasn't there a piece of that we divided that does go to the Common School Land Fund?
Mr. Chairman, so I can't recall right now off the top of my head the original language, but a few years ago, there was a bill to slightly modify that distribution formula so that the counties with heavier lottery sales got to enjoy a higher percentage of those proceedings. But the proceeds are still divided by the Department of Revenue on a pro rata basis to the counties. I don't know that there survived any language in there about the school.
Okay.
Specifically, that was originally in the bill. But I think now, as per the last revision, it just all goes to cities, towns and counties.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate being corrected on that. There was quite a lot of debate back in the old days when we took that up. And originally there was a notion that it should all go to the schools. But I think there was a lot of sentiment to go to the local governments as well. So senators, any questions? Senator Schuler?
So thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just, I did go around and talk to a few of my retailers in my neck of the woods. Even before we started talking about it in our committee, just to see kind of what their thoughts were. And, the stories I got were the same, especially the ones that come from out of state. If they come up here, they're gonna buy a lottery ticket. If they have to walk across the store to the ATM or go outside and go to the bank, they're gonna do it. If they come up to get the ticket, if they don't have cash, and sometimes I guess a couple of the retailers said that they get a little cranky when they find out they have to have cash. But they're not, it doesn't deter them. And I think that was the biggest thing that, was helpful for me to get on board with this, was that we're really not encouraging anyone to gamble that doesn't already want to. I mean, if they're up there to buy a ticket, they're gonna buy a ticket. And yes, we do have lines when the lottery gets up quite high. Don't plan on getting a loaf of bread or a gallon of milk unless you do it late at night or something. So anyway, just wanted to pass that on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator, for that. Senator Jones, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, is there any concern about a dispute of a debit card charge, or you feel like you can back that up?
Which one of you? And by the way, for the record, would you please?
I apologize, Mr. Chairman. Matt Kaufman with Hathaway and Coons, outside legal counsel for the lottery. We've looked at that issue. So just to be clear, and Robin can help me out on this, but first, the lottery is offering to the retailers to cover any fees associated with running the cards. So that the retailers are not going to be hurt by any, fee assessment. With respect to charging or dispute of charges, that's going to be dependent to some extent on whoever the payment provider is, right? And how that process works. Some of them have different mechanisms where a customer disputes the chargeback goes to the store and then it's resettled. Sometimes that happens differently. So there's a little bit of imprecision with that answer, I know, but it mostly depends on the payment provider for the retailer.
Anything else? Well, very helpful. All three of you. Appreciate you walking us back through. As I said, we spent quite a bit of time and had good testimony during the interim. So appreciate it. Please stay put, and we're going to go to some public comment on the bill. Okay, so we reserve the right to come back to you. Good morning. Does anybody want to come forward on public comment? Who's this stranger? Good morning.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Mike Mosier, Wyoming State Liquor Association. If I'm going to start out the morning with committee testimony, I'm glad it's this committee. I think, in fact, I know I'm the only existing lobbyist that worked on the original lottery bill back in 2013. And we didn't include debit cards because back then we didn't really think about debit cards. And so it was really more of a matter of omission than anything on purpose. The lottery bill passed partially because we omitted scratch tickets because that was the real controversial thing. Traditionally, and I realize we're only 2 states that haven't done it, and I'm partially to blame because we did not support this bill in the past because we had 3 major areas of concern. But great thanks to the Lottery Corporation, they addressed those areas of concern, and so we fully support this bill. Those 3 areas were, as was mentioned before, we wanted to make sure the retailer didn't pay the debit card fee, that the lottery would absorb that, and they will. Also, we didn't want to make it a requirement that people take debit cards for lottery. So if you're a small fish and tackle shop and you don't want to mess with debit cards on lotteries, you don't have to. And the other thing is no credit cards. Addressing what Senator Jones inquired about, that's where most of your problems are with credit cards. Also, we just didn't want to have to mess with that. Debit cards are pretty direct cash out, and so it's a lot easier. So thanks to the Lottery Corporation, I think it's a great bill. A lot of us don't carry cash anymore. A lot of us don't want to mess with change, and so it's much easier. If I may, quick editorial. I saw this bill got a couple no votes on introduction. And if I may elaborate my theory as to why, there are certain areas that are collateral damage to the expansion of gaming that aren't expanding. I include lottery in that. I include skill games in that, poker and bars. Those aren't really growing, but since there's one sector of the gaming market that's exploding, everybody's getting collateral damage for it. Well, we don't want an expansion of gaming. This is not an expansion of gaming. This is just an alternate payment system that makes it easy for our customers, and it's an easier world. Most retailers would operate off a separate terminal, so they don't even have to tie up your individual terminal to do it. So it's a really good bill. It helps small businesses, helps the lottery, and helps our coffers. So I see it as a win-win for everybody. And I would be more than happy to take any questions.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Moser. We do go all the way back to the days when we were standing this thing up, and you probably remember what I stated in terms of, where did some of these proceeds, we wanted them to come back to Wyoming. We wanted to direct them, and it ended up with our local governments, but we did talk about schools at one point. Hadn't really thought about your editorial comment. I appreciate that. I think that there's some wisdom there. Surprisingly enough, no. Anyway, thank you.
Well, and Mr. Chairman, we
yeah.
were much more eloquent when that bill passed because we were in high school then.
Yeah, yeah, we had hairlines back then. And anyway, thank you, Mr.
Chairman.
Moser.
Thanks,
Appreciate it. Good morning, Mr. Downey.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of committee. Jonathan Downing, appearing on behalf of Wyoming Petroleum Marketers Association and Convenience Stores Association. Greer Bailey, our executive director, may be online to testify. If he's not able to make it online, just briefly, we appreciate the work of the lottery and working with our members on some of the concerns we'd had, and we're fine with the bill moving forward.
Any questions for Mr. Downing? So Mr. Downing, the small business aspect of this, there's a lot of these smaller stations out across. They don't have a lot of employees, and I hadn't thought about it till this morning that they really don't have the ability to spend the day 2 or 3 times going down to the bank and back. So that's something I hadn't really thought that much about, but that's a piece of this, isn't it?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and appreciate the question. As the industry has changed and as we face challenges within the industry, as far as now with the penny and some of the issues that might be coming before you as far as rounding with pennies not being as prevalent in the money supply, it's an example of where you do see industry going more to debit card based types of transactions in these situations in other jurisdictions. And so in that respect, we'd had some comments and visits with the lottery on it. Wanted to make sure as far as our brick and mortar locations that offer and support this type of product, that those concerns were addressed, and they were very great on working with us as far as those concerns.
Yeah, Mr. Downey, I had a similar experience to Senator Schuler visiting with some folks in my neck of the woods, and ran into a young lady out at one of the small gasoline stores. And she actually didn't like the idea. But I think it was because she didn't want, as Mr. Moser pointed out, I think it's because she didn't want to have to deal with the debit cards. But really didn't get much pushback other than that. So I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Very interesting. And in our conversations with lottery, I believe that they'd address some of those concerns as well with vendors in that respect.
Yeah, but generally your folks are on board.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Thank you. Anything, Senator Jones?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Downing, I'm not sure if this is you to answer it or them, but I was wondering, does it have to be a separate transaction for the debit cards, or can they buy all their stuff together?
Mr. Chairman, I would defer to lottery.
Okay.
So-
I thought so, but I just thought,
Thank you.
sorry.
That's a great question. Yeah, good question. Robin, welcome back. Maybe you can tackle that one for us.
So we'll talk a little bit about the technology that we're looking at. It actually is a technology that plugs right into our Photon, and the Photon is what prints the tickets. And so it is a keypad, so it's tied to only lottery purchases. And so we didn't want to have to deal with the keypad that they have existing because we couldn't separate the transaction. We had no record of the fact that we might be paying the fees for a soda or a bag of chips. And so the technology we're using ensures that it's strictly lottery and it is a separate transaction.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Senator Truitt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. While you're here, just a thought. I know the first couple of years when we had money that was given back to the cities, I was on the city council and we were able to give our policemen a nice little raise. Because again, a lot of them were dealing with these issues of security and helping the retailers. Do you know how much money total has gone back to the cities and towns out of the amount that the lottery has received in
It's
the last number of years, or is that a?
Chairman Landon, Senator Schuler, I believe we hit maybe 44 million so far, and that's been in 11 years. So
And just a follow-up question on that one, Robin. So I assume that these payments have gone to every one of our counties, correct?
yes,
Yeah,
yep.
Okay. All righty. Hey, Senator Jones.
Mr. Chairman, I was wondering, could we get, is there any way you could email us the breakout of maybe just for 25, what each county received?
Chairman Landon, Senator Jones, we have that information that we'll be passing out. So it will tell you for fiscal year 25 where all of the money was distributed.
Perfect. That'll be very helpful for us to answer some questions up above.
Okay.
Anything else for Robin? Any further public testimony? Do we have anybody else who'd like to testify on this bill? Okay, how about online? So do we have somebody?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm promoting him now to the room.
Okay, we are on Senate File 24, Lottery Tickets Acceptance of Debit Card Payments. And we have someone online who'd like to testify. We're waiting on that, so. Good morning. Can you hear us?
Yeah, good morning, Chairman.
We can hear you. Good morning.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't know I was going to be able to be on, but Jonathan did great, and Mr. Mosier has always did a great job. And so my name's Greer, and I'm the director of the Wyoming Fuel Marketers. And I did want to specifically commend and elevate the work that the lottery had done, and their board passing a resolution that provided a lot of commitment and surety for our board moving forward. And then just as a note for future reference, I do think that debit cards make a lot of sense. But I do want to note that we've seen in other states that, it also starts kind of down a road of a lot of increased pressure for a lot of other things that, might be more consumer convenient. But want to know that we're only comfortable moving forward with this at this time. So I just wanted to put that check mark down on for the record and, just transparently disclose that I think that this is a great change and good for Wyoming, but we should go really slow when it comes to, gambling and, skill games and everything, especially online. So I really appreciate that. And thank you very much to the lottery.
Thank you for that. And I think you said, Gary, I hope I got that part right, but can you do me a favor and reintroduce yourself? I just want to make sure we have you down on record and.
Sure. Greer Bailey, and I'm the Executive Director of Wyoming Petroleum Marketers.
Greer, my apologies. I got your first name wrong too. Anyway, thank you for being here this morning. We appreciate your testimony. Any questions, Senators? Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else, Sue, online?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we're going to close public testimony. What's your pleasure, Senators, on this bill?
Move the bill. I'll second it.
Moved by Senator Jones, seconded by Senator Schuler. Discussion. Any further discussion on Senate File 24? Any questions we need answered? Just a quick one, Robin. Sorry, I didn't catch you before you went back. There is a fiscal note on this bill, and we will be asked about that. Why the projection of increased revenue? Is that the people that come in and they don't have cash and they were gonna get a lottery ticket, but they can't now, but now they can? Is that?
Yes,
that
Chairman
kind of-
Landon. It's really adding that convenience is going to, if you're in the store, the jackpot's big, you have your debit card, but you don't have cash. So it's just more convenient for them.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Just wanted to make sure we had
You're
that right.
welcome.
Appreciate that. Okay, anything else? Any amendments? Nothing? Sue, would you please take roll on Senate File 24?
Senator Boner.
Excused.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Hicks has left a no vote, absentee vote of no.
Okay,
Senator Jones. Aye. Senator Schuler.
Aye.
Chairman Landon.
aye.
Mr. Chairman, you have 3 ayes, 1 no, 1 excused.
So does somebody want to carry this upstairs, like somebody from Sweetwater County or?
No, yes, I can.
Madam Vice Chairman, that's awesome. Thank you.
Accurate.
Okay, and we're right behind you if a fight breaks out, okay? Okay, so we have tentatively, we are looking, folks, for those listening in, we will take up the landowner permit bill on Thursday in TRW, and we'll find out what else comes our way. We have in our possession the school facilities bill. We will not be working that bill. That will more than likely get re-referred somewhere at some point, but that was a bill that it doesn't look like we're gonna need to progress with. But anyway, we'll find out what else we receive in the next couple of days. So anything else for the good of the cause? We are adjourned. Thank you. Appreciate it.